I need a bad girl to make my homie lose his cool. I need a bad girl who love listen to the bad Ice Cube. I need a bad girl to make me wanna break the roof. I need a bad girl, boom chicka wow wow, sex on my roof.
Hey guys, it's Miss Polly. It is nice to see you guys. I am back. I've been doing a few videos, really updating my YouTube thumbnails, getting a lot of help from some people. Shout out to E Black. He's been really helping me get things structured for everything. So we can keep going with our poly videos and our life coaching and all those great elements that we want to put together. So I'm really excited about new projects. I will be also on another podcast coming up on Thursday, and so that'll be really exciting. We'll be giving you guys more details of that, and hopefully we'll be able to bring her on. So I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to do more things with other people, possibly doing interviews, maybe starting more of a podcast kind of look for ourselves in our channel. So bear with me, and I appreciate it. If you guys are new, you know what to do. Subscribe to get more information about how to be poly, the poly lifestyle, what that means, getting more information on what that really looks like. My goal is really to make sure that people are clear on what they're doing and what the boundaries are, and even if they don't fit into poly, they fit in monogamy, they fit into lifestyles, that they have the information so that not just for their own sake and knowing what they want to do, but to provide that information to outsiders who may want to possibly be with you or interact with you. And so a lot of times people get into relationships expecting it just to be monogamous or even lifestyle, and they change their mind in the process because they get to know someone. And that was one of the things we're going to talk about today, is kind of clarifying those lines once again for lifestylers and poly, because there's always some confusion with it. I think it's always clear, very good to clear it up and then have those separate sections and to work on those as a group. So like I was saying today, I really want to hit that up. But go ahead and subscribe today if you guys haven't done it. And check out my Facebook. We have also a YouTube, not a YouTube, sorry, a Facebook page, Miss Polly Wright, and I'm also in a group called the Poly Lounge. So you guys can check out those. That's a good place to find other people who are poly. You can ask to be in that group, answer the questions, and then we'll accept you in that group. So I'm one of the head people in that group. So you may see me doing lives and so forth in there, and that's just because I'm one of the people who give out information on educational purposes. So please check those out. But back to our video. Okay, so lifestyles. Let's talk about lifestyles. Lifestylers, if you do not know what lifestylers have a big variety of different things. There are people who are into lifestyle things and they are married, and some of them are single, and so it's a very large group. And so in that group, poly people also get pushed into sometimes, and kind of mixed in there. So what we want to do is kind of break that down between the two. So lifestylers, most of the time what you're going to think about lifestyles, you're going to think about fetishes, BDSM, all those things like that. Parties. A lot of people get on to all these little, I don't want to missay, but there's some apps that people get onto, all those things that pertain to lifestyles. So if you're interested in lifestyles, a lot of times people will be in those groups, interact in those kind of communities locally and things like that. But like I said, that is just a lifestyle choice that they are choosing to do. And some people who are in that actually try not to identify as lifestylers, but the actions that they're doing are lifestylish, however you want to put it. So if you are interested in lifestyles, though, like I said, there's a lot of Facebook groups. a lot of Facebook groups if you're just interested in diving into that. Fetish groups, not only OnlyFans, guys. I know people think of OnlyFans, fetishes. You see people with feet fetishes and so forth and so forth. There are other fetishes, things like that, and they're in that kind of genre. But for the most part, what lifestylers are people who have multiple sexual partners, different times, periodically throughout their span of time, and they don't want any commitments to those partners. They're not looking for a relationship. They may high five you and be your friend. Some people even need a little bit of intimacy to engage in sexual activities. But at the end result, they don't want a relationship with you. It's into the fetish and the excitement of the moment. That's all. And so that is what really is the forefront of lifestylers. If you feel like that's what you do, you're probably into lifestyles. Now, if you want to go beyond that scope, like I said, talk about fetishes. Like BDSM, there are people who are poly and can be lifestylers. There are lifestylers. You can be poly, you can be monogamous and be in lifestyles. The thing about being monogamous and saying you're in lifestyles, this is the red flag. There's some confusion with this. There are a lot of people who do wife swapping, which would be included in that. When you are with a partner and you and your partner decide to have another person come into your relationship, but they're only there for sexual means, and they will go and come and go if it's over a month, of whatever span of time that is. They're not consistently there. They don't make big decisions in your life. That can turn into an open relationship. And open relationships also tend to include lifestyleish activities. Okay, lifestyle activities. Like I said, all the BDSM going to the lounges. There's lounges you can go to, and you can have those intimate actions with people. And sometimes they may have a girlfriend and things like that. This is where the unicorns kind of pop up, but unicorns usually, people who think they find unicorns usually don't find unicorns, because the idea of being in a long-term relationship with a couple that don't value you as much as the people in the relationship, it doesn't tend to last long if that person really wants a relationship of value. And if they want that kind of relationship interactions with someone mentally and physically, and be part of their lives, they're not going to get that as a unicorn. So that's not a choice for them. That's why unicorn, as we say. That is kind of in that realm. You would be more open in a relationship if you and your partner decide to have an open relationship, allow someone in, and then you participate in lifestyle activities. You go to parties. There are a lot of voyeurs. You guys heard of cuckolds, where they watch their partners interact with other males, but at the end of the day, they're with their partner. So those are people who claim to be monogamous, who participate in lifestyle activities. But at the end of the day, them and the partner and them have a communication that this is what we are. And we're not going to let anyone into that, which means that they're monogamous, who participate in lifestyle activities. So that's where, we want to clear that up. I've had some questions about that, and that's where it needs to clear it up. Now, when it comes to being people who say they're not lifestyles, we're just dating, or I'm just single and I'm in lifestyles. If you're in lifestyles and you're going to lifestyle parties and you're interacting with women or whatever, men, and you're having these activities happen, you're participating in lifestyle events. If you move in that fashion, then I would say it's appropriate to claim it, because you are doing that. It's me being poly, having more than one partner, and loving them and showing them full relationship, value, and putting all that in there and giving them trust and all that. We have to be labeled as such. Now, that's where the labeling takes place. A lot of people say, I don't want to put a label on, I don't want to put a label on it. And I hear that. What that means to me is that you don't want to classify yourself, because if something changes or something goes the way you don't want it to go, you don't want to have a label on that holds you to the responsibilities of that label. Does that make sense? So if you're a lifestyle or you're doing lifestyle activities and you're not claiming that, and then you do something that maybe offends someone else, then you just don't want to take responsibility for the title, what the title holds, because you don't want to be associated with that. So I say, I think you should claim it. But if you don't claim it, it's always best to be clear and open with who you're with about what you're doing. And that doesn't mean you have to be with them, that to be your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Anyone you have an interaction with that, especially sexually, you should have a conversation with them about what we're doing. Now, and I know lifestyles don't really like that. The fact that it's so anonymous and open and you can just do what you do and go about your way. That's the whole vibe of being a lifestyler. And anyone who feels that way, I don't want to ever put them down. Feel sexually open to do what you want. But for someone coming to you and asking you to clarify what you're doing, it's right to give them the information because they're asking for that. And if they're not down for it, there's lots of other people who are. And remember, taking someone's choice to say no is wrong. Even if you want them sexually or relationship wise, not allowing them the information to deny you what you want is wrong. Is wrong. So we want to practice, like I said, good relationships, building right. Even if relationships aren't long, building a relationship with people is important. And, sticking by what you say and all those things, that's just being a good person. And I know a lot of people feel like, no one's good. And so then why do I have to follow the rules? And I get it, and it's tough out there, especially for young people who live by those rules of everyone's going to be out to get me. If no one starts by trying to do the right thing, we're always going to be in this foolishness that we're in. And so my goal is to at least spread the word and also hold myself accountable for being open and honest and positive and trying to do the best that I can. I am not perfect, but I am going to strive for that every day. That's all that matters to me, So if you are lifestyles, if you're not sure, figure something out, be able to give someone clear information as a responsible adult who's sexually active, be able to clarify what you're doing so people have the choice to say yes or no. So on to clarifying poly, because people say, what's the difference between being poly and the difference between being monogamous? This is a big one. Monogamous and just dating. The difference is you're saying you have the capacity to be with more than one person full on relationship wise. Not always. Like I said, poly has lots of different varieties and variants. Your poly doesn't have to look like everyone else's. You can be a monogamous person and be with a poly person. You could be a lifestyler and be with a poly person. I don't think they mix very well, but it can happen. And that's okay too. You love who you love, and if you guys have an understanding and boundaries, that's all that matters. Because you're the one that has to live in that relationship, no one else does. So, with people who are monogamous, it's a one-on-one. It's supposed to be us only. There are, I say unspoken rules and regulations to that you have to abide by, and maybe boundaries that you have spoken with your partner about, and where you want that to go. So you want to absolutely give that information out ahead of time for good relationships, and be open about what's going on. That doesn't matter what relationship it is in, poly, monogamous, any of those lifestyle, being honest with who you are and what you're doing is very important. So if you decide to be poly, though, the difference between poly and monogamous and just dating is that you are just dating multiple people full on. If you are with a partner already and you're starting to date, you're just dating at that moment, because you're going to be poly regardless if you have partners or not. Having a partner doesn't regulate that you have the ability to love more than one person. It's just saying, okay, I'm with someone right now. I may add more partners at some time. I'm not sure when, but when I find the right person, I will be with them. So that's kind of where that stands. If you're being monogamous and you're just dating, you can just date. Most of the time, I know people don't always use the same words I use. Pod, whoever's your group of people that is your main relationships as you're with, your pod, usually if you're adding someone into your pod as a permanent installment, there's a conversation amongst everyone to whatever degree. Even if you guys are not together with dating, your table dating or table polying or whatever, there's still conversation needs to be taken so that they know that this is a important person who's going to be part of your group. Now, this is where I think people get tricked up and confused. I will say this. There are some of us who have more rules than others, and some of us, or not say rules, boundaries than others. So your boundaries may be already in place. So when you're out here dating and you add a new person, you meet a new person, there may be rules already established by the main pod that you go into a new relationship with. If you are a single person or you have your poly situation is different, where there's some people who poly this way, and there's nothing wrong with this. They have their main partner, but they still go on dates. And on these dates, they have sexual interactions with people, and they date them like it's just regular and everything like that. Okay? And they do that. And that's fine. So they'll do that. And then what happens is when the new person's like, okay, and they may have questions depending on, like I said, how you're poly, but then you'll add them into your pod and have those rules reestablished about being a main partner in the pod. Okay? If you're not doing that, now a lot that happens a lot of times with polyfidelity, that it's really a bigger landscape, and you deal with a lot more people, and for safety purposes, a lot of people want to be in the more of the node. A lot of times, a lot of the safety stuff has to do with people having sex with more than one person, and that person having sex with more other people, and there's a lot more heads to count when it comes to figuring out who's doing what with who, and we want to be honest because that's keeping us all safe and healthy. Plus, and there's other safety things you can take in place. Watch that other video about being safe and all those things. But when it gets kind of bigger like that, also want to have the information so then when we interact with other partners, we're aware of what's going on. There's some people who want to close off, which means you just have those main pod and that's it. And then some of us don't. They think this is what they want to do forever, is kind of be open to new people coming in their life, depending on if it's short or long, all those things. So poly has a lot of variety. So someone said they don't want to poly and they really fixated on one particular way. There's so many options. And you can do it in a safe, loving way. Some people, it's not just about safety, sexual safety. It's about having safety, emotional safety, and feeling good about choices they make and who they're with. And those are good things too. So those are really good reasons why people kind of stay in these poly groups or in their pod. And then if you're monogamous, it's like I said, it's one-on-one. And the difference between you dating like that is a monogamous person is going to find one person, they're supposed to be fixated on that person. That's basically the long and short of that. You're fixated on that person. Everything's supposed to be about that person. You're really supposed to fixate and build around you and that person, and that's it. And that's really the main difference. And then you're not supposed to go outside those boundaries. But we know people do. And a lot of people are like, well, that's how dating is. I have heard that. Dating is this way. And I get that people are dating this way. I don't think this is a safe and healthy way to date. It's not. You're consistently showing people that you can't trust them or rely on them for anything other than a sexual moment. Because that's all you're valued as. And for me, I say, what's past that? Because after a while, you've had as much as you can. I mean, you can only, you're going to be like, okay, no, that's great. I know what that feels like. Yeah, there might be an exciting moment here and there. But in the day, that's all there is. And now you're only valued as your sex. In your mind, you may not think that's all you think about yourself. That's how you value yourself. And so when you go out here and look for a real relationship, everything will trigger you. Because you don't know how it feels to be valued for anything other than sexual means. You don't understand it. And so when someone, and even people act out sexually when they get upset. So there are people who do that too. People who act out emotionally, breaking car windows. There's lots of ways we react. But a lot of this is due to being in relationships where it's based off of something that's not real. Or based off of relationships where there's not clear dialogue about what's happening and no one brings it up. and we let it boil and fester and make a mess. Okay, so we definitely want to clarify what we're doing. But the difference between, like I said, those two, and then now overall the difference, overall the difference between poly and lifestyle. So like I said, you can be poly and in lifestyles. You can be monogamous in lifestyles, and you can kind of jump in there. Lifestyles is really a way to participate in sexual actions that don't include any mental interaction with anyone else. It's just an opportunity for you to do that. And then the reason why it's labeled that is so that people know where to go. Because I told you I was going to a lifestyle party, you know what it's about. So if I go to a lifestyle party, you're not confused. Am I supposed to be nice and give this girl drinks? Or am I just going to pull it out and ask her to do something with it? There's a difference. And there's a knowledge of that. There is a difference while you're there. So that really clarifies everything for you. And even in groups, you know what a lifestyle group is. If you don't like lifestyles, you're not going to be in the group. If you're not about that, if that's not what you're looking for, then you can't go in there. And that's what kills me all the time, especially some of the groups that are poly mixed lifestyles. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit right. But like I said, you can be poly into lifestyles. It's just that if you're a poly person and you're in a group that's poly / lifestyles, I think it's funny. I don't like being in those groups, but I will sometimes. Because the only time I think it's okay is if you're a poly person and you're a voyeur. Or you like to just interact with people, but you have no real reason. You're not going to be dating anyone there. If you're in there trying to date, there is no purpose for you to be there. They don't want what you want. They don't want a relationship. They don't want you to call them every day. They don't want that. And to actually go into a group or go into a situation and you're poly into a lifestyle situation is just, to me, a really bad choice, and it doesn't end well. Unless you are transitioning or something's happening. But if you're not, and you're just going into a group as a poly person to a lifestyle group, unless you're a voyeur, like I said, you're into lifestyle things. You like to look at somebody naked or something like that. If you're not into that, and you went in there trying to find a whole person to be with, it doesn't mix. It's water and vinegar. It just doesn't mix. It doesn't mix well. But like I said, I've seen people who are poly who are in lifestyles. They have a lot more boundaries because there has to be. So I'm not saying it'll fail, absolutely, but there will have to be boundaries set because what they're looking for is no connection. And poly people want to connect fully. So you're literally asking for one person who wants to do connecting a lot, and someone just wants to sexually connect. Somebody's going to have to give some. Somewhere, something is going to have to give. It doesn't blend well. But I'm not saying it could never happen. I'm sure there's someone out here who's going to be like, yeah, I'm lifestyler, and I'm a whole poly person relationship right now, and I love it. And I'm like, okay. But I bet you have a lot of boundaries, and I bet you have a lot of rules. Because, there's been some times I've seen some documentaries, and there was a gentleman who did the same thing. His partner actually she wasn't monogamous, but she was really slow when it came to getting partners and like that. She's really slow in getting to know them and all that. And her partner's like, I want to fuck everything. Like he was doing everything. And I was like, good Lord. And everyone saw him as a villain, but I saw what it was. He had a lot of sexual energy. He liked being a lifestyle wife. And his partner just wasn't into that. But she understood it. And they had a lot of boundaries. And even though he messed up on boundaries a lot, they were there. So, boundaries are important. It makes people feel good and safe. It helps people, especially help people process being into transition into poly. So, like I said, this whole what's the difference between lifestyle and poly and just being single, yeah, you could just be single because you're still saying you want to talk to multiple people. The thing is that you just haven't chosen a person to be with, and you don't want to lose that connection because you still want the attention that the person's giving you. That's what dating is to me now. That I see it is people, like, they want to date 4 or 5 people. They want the attention and the whatever it is that they want from that person, but they don't also want to be alone, and they don't also want to lose their position with that person. So what they'll do is date until they find someone that they only want to be with monogamously, and then they drop everyone else, and then hopefully don't get caught, because technically that's cheating. That's what it is. It's cheating. Unless you have set up boundaries where that's okay, and most people are not. So yes, being single, yeah, you're not cheating. But when you're making someone, okay, I won't say make because people don't like those words. When you are giving someone the option to be in your life, whatever capacity, especially the capacity of actually interacting as a couple, and then you decide that we're not put a label on it, and we're just gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it for other people. And then when I find someone I really want to be with, I'm just gonna drop you because we were never in a relationship. That's wrong. Because your intent was never for positivity or love or getting to know one. It was just a placeholder. And now you want 4 placeholders because you just want something from them. And then once that's done, you're done. You'll find someone who fulfills a lot of the things you want, and then that's who you're going to be with. And you're damaging people, it's not a good way to practice caring about people and showing, the generations behind us, that's not what we want to do. I don't want us to be more damaged, and stand up for what is actually the right thing to do. Even if someone doesn't think it's the right thing to do, communicating and being open there's nothing wrong with that. But hiding, lying, and cheating, stealing, they hurt people. So I don't see how that's positive. So yes, there's a difference between these. I hope that helped clear up some of it. Like I said, I'll probably do the video again, because my take on it changes. The way I say it changes so that it's clear to different kinds of people. So I always want to sometimes make videos over again to make sure I'm giving the most updated information, to add things I may have missed, catch myself if I have had a mishap, and correct those errors. So hopefully this will help someone. This is one of my newer videos. It's going up, and like I said, subscribe, guys. Show interest if you're interested in poly. Like I said, I'm a life coach, also in just life events, but also lifestyles, poly, and monogamy. So please reach out if you guys like to. I'm sending the app out here. Keep talking about this app. We're going to be launching this app here shortly. I want to make sure everything's good on it. Especially, I have one-on-one sessions already, but I want to be able to give us some actual workshops that we can work on together, and get you guys in the right place, and be positive, and show people the love that I know you guys are capable of showing, and no matter what that looks like, whatever that is for you. If it's lifestyles, let's do it open, positive, and loving. If it's poly, let's do it the right way. Let's not hide who we are and keep secrets and cause dangerous situations possibly. Let's be open and honest about what we're doing, so that everyone's in the know, and everyone has the option to say yes or no. Don't take anyone's option away. So you guys have a good day, and I appreciate it. Bye.